Good evening. We are live after
Evening.
5 weeks. I'm back on. It's been 5 weeks since I've been on here. It's a long time. It's longer than you've been off, Jay, at times.
I think it is. Welcome back, mate, and hopefully not too rusty after the holiday.
Well, I couldn't remember where the live button was, could I? I couldn't remember where the countdown button was, so that's why we're late. So apologies and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining, and we'll go through the roll call in a minute. So yeah, it feels a bit weird.
Welcome back.
Kind of being the host again, and I was a bit nervous beforehand. I'm thinking, how do I do this?
Well, that start was a lot slicker than my start when I did mine, because I didn't know where the countdown was. It went straight into the stream, and I was like, I can hear about 3 versions of the stream here, just to get the numbers.
And you were on your own.
No, and I was on my own. Tom was rattling the chat, going, "Oh, I'll be on in a minute. I'll be on in a minute." And I was like, 10 past 8, quarter past 8. Mate, you rescued the day though. You turned up in the end.
That's it. No water change tonight.
No, that's what I messaged him earlier, guys, in the chat. I was like, "No water change tonight, Tom. Make sure you're not water changing.
Make sure you're on."
I saw that.
Make sure you're on."
So to answer your question, so before we come on, Jay goes, what's happened to the tank? So I've still got cyanobacteria,
right?
And it was clearing up. Then I went away for 5 days. It must have been 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it came back. So this is with coral snow. So this is the Zeovit coral snow, and also I think it's CyanoClean as well. And you dose it daily. Yeah. So I started doing this originally, and it started to go, and then of course I missed 5 days, and it came back with a vengeance. So I'm going to give it until the bottles run out, which I think is probably just after Christmas. And if it hasn't cleared by then, I'm going to then try a different solution. So the corals are fine, and the fish are fine. It's just I've got cyano around most of the sand, and of course I haven't got much sand left, so that's a problem as well. So it's kind of no more.
Did you take some out of it?
Sorry, Joe.
Did you take some of the sand out of the?
Well, I did before when in the early days when I had the green hair algae, I was cleaning the sand, and it's quite a fine sand, so the sand was coming out as well. So I really regret, I've said this before, I really regret not using live sand, because it's caused me all kinds of problems. It really has. But that's just how it goes.
Right, white, wasn't it, when you first put it in? It was
absolutely. It was like the teeth cleaner, but now I would love it. Yeah, just like that, Jay. It was just like that.
I haven't got turkey teeth. But it looked like that though. It was like without being rude, it was kind of unnaturally white, wasn't it?
It was a glare.
It's like a cat.
What are you drinking?
What am I drinking?
What's that in that little glass? That's not cold Yorkshire tea, is it? What is it?
No, that is hot tonic. So I'm trying to get rid of the sore throat. So it's my go-to Christmas drink. Obviously, we've got Christmas going on here at Jay's Real Reef. Yeah. not as much as Ross though. Ross is fully Christmassy in here at the moment.
I mean, snow, big Ross.
Yeah.
And Paul's got his snow out, so I felt best.
Yeah, got the coral snow.
Got the coral
got the
snow.
light. Now got the lights out the front of the house, so it's feeling a bit more festive. They're going on today.
Hey. Are they above the garage where the tanks are?
No, I haven't done the inside yet. No, there's wasted on the fish, really.
Oh dear, man.
It's on the outside only.
Jack Daniel's fire, sugar, honey, a little bit of lemon and lime, hot water. Amazing.
That'd be a nightmare for me. All that sugar.
There is a lot of sugar in it, mate. Yeah,
that would send my blood sugars through the roof.
Oh yeah, you've got sugar in there and honey and
exactly.
Give it an hour and he'll be like Morph off Tony Hart.
It's just Christmas, isn't it? Again, it's the spirit.
If you say so.
1st of December, that's it now. We get the run up to Christmas.
You got your first chocolate this morning then, did you, on your advent calendar?
Yeah, no, I haven't. So I'm a big kid.
Here we go.
Not that you've noticed. So
what have you got?
They don't do reefing calendars. They should do a reefing calendar, shouldn't they, with different like fish foods and bits.
You got Finding Nemo one then, yeah?
No, so I've had to go with.
City. Right, okay.
What was that?
That wasn't me. I don't know. That's it.
No, refractometer's just gone on the floor. It's all right.
Was it? Sound like the dog dish or something. Yeah. So because I'm a big fan of Lego, I got that, and I'm slimming, so I can't eat chocolate.
Okay.
What was in day one then for Lego? 1st of December.
I haven't opened it yet. Do you want me to open it?
Yeah, go on
I
then.
haven't opened it. So the kids at school were like, "Sir, have you got an advent calendar?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have. Yeah, because obviously I'm like a big kid." They're like, "Which one you got? Which one you got?" I've got the Mao one. I've got this one. I've got that one. I was like, "I've got Lego one." They were like, "That's a bit sad, isn't it?" I was like, "Where did you get that from?" A toy shop. I just realised how like I just like when I was a kid, like when we were younger, I just loved Lego.
Like 30 years ago, yeah.
30 years ago, yeah. And and I've never fallen out of love with Lego. As you know, look here, look.
Yeah, you still got the Lego tank.
I've got two. I've got that one.
Yeah.
Lego. That's ace, isn't it? And then I've got the Lego tank, which everyone's seen, I think. But
yeah, I haven't seen that last one.
Yeah, I just love it. But I haven't opened this yet, so I was going to do it after the live, but
yeah,
I'll do it.
So you do live. That, and then you do that. Are you going to do it now or not?
I am going. Yeah. It's got like a little flat bit here, look. I need to open.
Oh right. I see.
Yeah, I need to open that bit first.
Well, since you've been doing that, Jay, we've gone down from 45 people to 4.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
Oh dear.
I hope they've all got the beers ready. Or they've got their cup of tea or the beers. Or what are you drinking tonight? Then what are we on? I'm
just on the water because my sugars at the moment. The blood sugars are all over the place.
Your blood sugars.
Yeah.
Now we've got a little snowman. Well, no, you got to build it. You got to build it. It's a little snowman.
All right. Okay. Very good.
But for the sake of the viewers, I'll build it after, shall I?
Yeah, it'll be a bit like your nitrate testing, won't it? 27 minutes later.
Remember that one? Oh my god! And then the cheeky sods. They released an easier one after watching me do that video. I think. They were like,
you know what? I think it was your demo that absolutely wrecked it. They sold no more, and they had to bring out a different version.
The sales dropped off there. The sales dropped off after my demo. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a good advert for it, was it?
It was a terrible advert, but I couldn't have done it any quicker, so that's just the way it is.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see who's knocking around this week, and then we'll crack on. So, Tony, nice to see you back, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the stream, and if people can hit the like button, that would be fantastic. So, thanks for that. Chris is not with us. He's going to a Crimbo warm up. But looking forward to this topic. So we're talking about easy reefing, aren't we, soon? So should be quite a good subject and hopefully a controversial one. Skids, good evening to you.
Evening.
Howard's around. Hi, Howard. Riggsy69, evening, guys. Got the lodger with me again tonight, watching AKA my nephew Jay.
Yeah,
give him a shout out.
Good to see you again. Good to join us on the stream.
Absolutely. Excellent. Techers, good evening to you. Hiya, Johnny boy.
Evening, John.
Yes. John sat comfortably watching.
Yes. Paul Davenport, my little lagoon. Yeah. Good evening to you. Liking that.
Yeah, it's nice.
Cotty's Reef, good evening to you.
Good evening.
MK Reefer, hiya. Right. Did I say
Drippy?
Hiya, Techers. Yeah, so Drippy. I've seen it. I don't know if you've seen the way, you know.
Like Phileas Fogg at the minute, this guy. He's everywhere.
We're going to have
We've still got more air miles than Richard Branson, this kid.
He goes everywhere. Have you seen his video? He's got video.
Yeah, I've been watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the beach.
I've seen one of the lobster ones. Yeah.
Yeah, he's entertaining, to be fair. Yeah.
And on one of the videos, he was taking, there was a young kid just standing behind him, weren't there? As he was going around and thinking, probably thinking,
yeah, it looked like he was going to rob his phone, to be fair.
That's why
I kept watching. I was like, he's going to get robbed here. He's going to get robbed.
Everybody kept asking him where he was from, as if he kept having to repeat himself. He was English, but he didn't understand what he was saying.
It's his accent, isn't it?
Absolutely. Hi, Mickey boy. Good to see you.
Mick.
UKM 120. Good evening.
Evening.
Hi, Stuart.
Good to see you, Stuart.
Jill's Aquarium. Loving that logo. Nice.
Nice. It's a good logo.
Hi, Russ. good evening to you. Reef 216. The lovely Hayley's with us. Hi, Hayley. Marek of the P. Good evening to you. Pelagic swimmer. I like that gem. Is that a gem tang? It is in the logo. That's nice. Hi, Rennie's Reef.
Rennie's Reef.
Good evening to you, Darren.
We will do after a few more of them.
Gaviscon. I drink more of that nowadays.
Oh dear.
Gaviscon,
yeah. Julian, good evening to you. Scott.
Nice one, Scott.
He's on a long drive home from Hull. Drive safely. I'm sure you will. Hiya, Woody. Good evening to you.
Woody. Nice one, Woody.
Going down. Ben, he's got a cherub angel there. Lovely little fish. That's the one I've got in here, Jay.
Yeah, they're beautiful little fish.
Yeah, they are.
Yours is dead timid, isn't it? Not timid, like just friendly, isn't it? Reef.
At least it's not dead, Jay, like you keep asking.
Yours died, Jack. How can you have that many fish and not one of them died? I don't understand. I'm only joking, mate. I know.
Like wishing. He's like wishing.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I don't want anything to die. But I'm just.
They're all plastic.
Plastic.
Oh dear.
Right.
So let's see who else is there. There's a couple of questions I'll go back to in a moment. Jarek, good evening to you.
Nice one, mate. Good to see you.
From well, I suppose it's cold Nottingham because it's cold everywhere at the moment, isn't it?
It's frosty at the moment.
Yeah. Did you guys have any snow? We had a few flakes this morning and nothing more.
No.
Yeah, we had a few flakes. No.
No snow, just frost.
No snow.
And really, there's quite a bit of snow, I think, in Cornwall, which is a bit unusual. I thought you guys would have had it.
I heard that it's coming from the southwest.
Yeah, and
we don't like snow in Yorkshire. We'd have to pay tax on
it. you had some snow on the east coast in Yorkshire, just not in Doncaster.
In John Skegness, you said. In John that way.
John Skegness. Yeah, you might have had a little bit.
You might have had a spring
snow. Might have
any snow. Starting to go like Christmas.
Thank you for that. Right, so Johnny Boy's got lots of hair algae.
It's the whiskey. Has it?
Loads of copepods, yeah. That's what he's saying.
I just manually removed it, like trimmed it each. This was in like the first few months. I got quite a bit. Yeah. I turned down the lights, and
put a bit of Barry White on.
I was going to say that. It's like, this doesn't sound normal, does it? Turned down the lights, lit a candle. No, I didn't. I turned down the lights and then manually picked it off the rocks, scrubbed it with a toothbrush, came back the following week, but it tended to get less and less.
Yeah.
It tended to get less and less over time. And then the coralline algae started to colonize the rocks, and then it starts to diminish. But yeah. That's why I wasn't worried about it. It's all right to have a little bit, as long as you don't let it get out of hand.
Which is what I did. You need to kind of, if you get it after a few weeks, you just got to sort it out, haven't you? Yeah,
because this is nano. So in a nano, you're a bit limited because you haven't got really many fish that you can buy that'll peck at the algae.
That's true.
But an urchin, that's the one.
I've got to say, the urchin has made such a big difference to this tank. As I said before, it's the first tank I've had where I've put an urchin in because I haven't really needed it before. And it just keeps it. And then I've put, I haven't got any snails in this tank. I've gone for red hermit crabs. Yeah. I've added some more. So I've only got about 5. I could probably do with adding some more. I've got to say, they're pretty good. They're all the time. And what I haven't done is mixed hermit crabs with snails.
Yeah,
so I know you've had that problem, haven't you? The hermits go after the snails because they got a bit of FOMO with their shells, haven't they?
That was one of my mistakes. That was so. I had a conch snail and quite a lot of different smaller snails like Nasarius snails, and my hermits have just killed them all. I wish I never put them in because they don't do that much, really. I don't think. So I'm gutted. I'd like to get them out, but it's hard to get them out, really. I don't know where to take them back to the shop or anything. I don't really want to do that, but it's my mistake, not theirs. It's like they're just doing what's natural to them. It's my error putting them in. So now I've got them. I'm kind of just going to live with them, thinking that they might. How long do they live for, hermits? I don't know.
This is the first time I've had them, so I've got no idea. I mean, I've had snails that last years. I've got some snails in the other tank that come from the original. They're about 5-6 years old. And they're big old snails. So whether crabs last that long or not, I don't know.
Well, yeah, don't know, but I would
maybe on the upgrade. On the upgrade, you can get rid of them.
On the upgrade, 2024, no hermits.
Yeah. So that's a lesson. Don't mix your crabs with your snails.
That's true. I prefer a conch to a hermit crab. And you can't have both because obviously the hermits will kill the conch, which is what happened in mine.
Oh, really? I haven't got a conch, so I guess, I suppose they do, that's a big old shell they go after.
Yeah, they see it and they're like, oh, I want that one. Let me have a bit of that action.
That's like going from a 2 up, 2 down to a mention, isn't it?
It's like going from my nano to Tom's. Jesus. Isn't it? That's a sort of
Jay.
there. It is.
So what cleanup crew you got in yours, Tom?
Nothing at the minute. Nothing. We're there's going to be about 16 snails going in tomorrow at the garage because, like I said to you on the group chat, the garage is getting diminished tomorrow, and we've got quite a lot of work to be going on. So the garage needs to become a garage again because at the minute I'm paying for a storage unit, which absolutely makes no sense for a lawnmower and tools and everything else. When I've got a 5x3 meter garage, so that's going back to a garage. But we are going to have a frag tank in there or QT tank. So yeah, we're going to be doing that over Christmas. So I might do a video, Jay, before you start asking.
Yeah, check out his channel if you can find it. We tried to find him.
Well, all I can find is Tom the Farmer.
Tom the Farmer. That's it. Tom the Farmer.
But it's coming.
No, it is. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Is it going to be a Christmas present?
To you guys, yeah.
Or is it post-Christmas?
Well, the channel or the
channel. Yeah, the channel.
Some videos.
Video.
Well, to be completely fair, this year is going to be the first year in God knows how long. I put my violin away that we're going to have a decent break from work, so I'm hoping that I can do a bit of practicing. I can send it to some of the experts like Paul and Mogsy and see what they say.
I won't bother. It'll tank.
Well, I'm not an expert anyway, so I'll tell you that.
And we'll go from there. It'll be a work in progress. That is fair to say. But no, I think we are gonna have a double, as they say in Yorkshire.
So, and then in the new year, you can host a live stream, so me and Jay can just sit back.
Oh yeah, exactly. It just looks so easy.
Yeah, it's really not. It's stressful.
No, cleanup crew is going to be about 16 snails in tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow Sunday, and I've got one. Yeah. I've got one Halloween crab that I've had for years, good or bad. I've just had him for years, and it's just again a bit sentimental, I suppose. But yeah, he's going in there as well. But that'll be it really. I've got no reason to add anybody else to it. So. Being quite aggressive when I am doing the water changes, and I've slowed it down a bit now, as you know, because I'm being quite aggressive with rower phos because of the phosphate leaching out the scape. When I do because of the gravel and whatnot, I don't want to be I don't want to be terminating snails along the way with the gravel cleaner as I'm going along. So I think that's a decent number, 16, 20 in that size tank. We'll see.
Yeah.
So and the decent size ones as well.
Yeah, the bigger ones. Yeah,
I've
had
them
so what's
years.
the phosphates doing at the moment then?
I'm laughing about it. I won't be laughing about it if I'd got corals in here. Let's be honest with you. Anyway, let's have a guess. I'll throw a guess out there.
Have a guess in the chat. Have a guess how high the phosphates are.
Yeah, because we generally don't know what it is, do we? We'll come back to
it. So I think we've got to be fair. So we've got two. Let's be fair to people. Let's give them something to sort of measure it against. So 1,400 litres of water, give or take, and a custom-made, man-made aquascape. Scott can't vote on this because he knows. So I spoke to him last night about it.
He's going to win then.
3 months in, and it was off the charts with a Hannah phosphorus checker, as in it blinked at 200. But now we are in a reading range, so I'll let the guessing game commence. But it's high.
It's high.
What's the maximum the Hannah goes to?
The phosphorus, not the phosphate. The phosphorus, because I ran out of reagents for the phosphate, so I use the phosphorus. That goes up to 200, which I knew you were going to ask me this. I've got the chart on my phone earlier.
What, the conversion?
That's the conversion. Yeah, the 200 is 0.613. That's not 0.0613. That's 0.613.
0. Right, so 0.6. Okay, we've got some coming in. We've got 1.5, 0.58, 1.8. We've got 199 from Russell, which means as it's measuring, that's the highest it can be.
Someone took a picture whilst you were measuring it as well, though.
He's finding out on that one, isn't he? Oh dear.
Your camera there, look.
Like looking in the mirror.
He's been to space and back to get this reading. So dedication, mate.
5.
0.5.
0.5. I'm gonna guess 0.8. 0.8, I'll guess. Let's put it in the chat. Can't be higher than that, surely.
He just said the maximum it goes to is 0.6, and it's lower than that. You weren't listening, was you? You was too busy getting on your phone the picture.
The highest it goes to is 0.61, 0.613.
Yeah, 0.61. So let's make it 0.8 then, shall we? As it's at the maximum it goes 0.6. You would certainly not be my phone a friend if I ever got an host.
I'm not very good with numbers, to be fair.
Oh dear. Jay's Reef, not 0.8. No, I think to be fair, the winner is who's on the actual money is from looking at it was Haley. It was Haley Barr, 0.58. That's where we are. Yeah.
What exactly?
Ooh. Yeah. Well done, Haley.
Wow.
Nice one.
Well, not well done.
No, it's not a nice one, is it?
It's not a nice one.
0.58. That's high, isn't it?
That is quite high.
That is quite high.
Well done, Jay.
How much you feeding? Right.
It's the rock.
It's the rock.
Oh, I thought. Oh, right.
Yeah, and he said that about 3 minutes. I mean, I tell you what, that drink has gone to your head, hasn't it?
Are you old enough? You got the ID for that? You got the ID for that?
Worse because it's got a load of whiskey in it, and I'm just going to get leathered this one.
He's gone red today, hasn't he? As he's drinking more and more, he'll feel like what's it in Willy Wonka, the one who goes purple.
Oh yeah, is it?
You know what I mean?
Augustus Gloop.
Augustus Gloop. That's it.
That's Augustus Gloop.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Just enjoy myself. So.
Good job, Jay.
Good job, Jay. It's a good job I'm not a maths teacher, mate. I can't do maths.
So what's the plan of action? Are you going to up the amount of rower you put into it?
Just going to have a fish only system. No, up the rower. Yeah, we've got 3. I mean, I could put lanthanum chloride in, but I've used it before and I've not a great experience with it, so I prefer to just use rower. I'm just going to be patient. Again, I'm 3 months in.
Yeah.
And this is obviously going to touch on probably the topic of this evening, really, in terms of the stream. You know, I'm fortunate enough that I'm not in a rush. I've not transferred stock from one tank to another, apart from the fish. So I'm just going to take my time, and if it takes 6 months, however long it takes, what it does. I mean, the only danger you've got with the man-made scape and with it obviously leaching phosphate. Again, I said this to Steve in eyesight. Probably should have soaked it. Was that feasible? No, because like the 1.5 meters, 1.5 meters length, 1.2 meters. You know, the vat in the garage that I do the water changes in that you've both seen. I'd have had to have put that in diagonally. You know, and I would have risked damaging it and breaking it, and there's no need. So again, you know, I'm running. There's 3 different amounts of rower. I've got one in a reactor that's tumbling nicely. I've got one on the trickle filter. And then I've got one on the that I put in the Zeo reactor, simply because it's a reactor and the water's going through it. But I've put them in at 3 different instances in terms of different weekends, so that they all don't deplete at the same time, and I just spread it out. And what I don't want to do is, I was saying this to Scott last night, I was talking to him about it. What I don't want to do is I don't want to just think, oh well, we're down to a good level of phosphate. and stop doing it. I need to make sure that we have reached the peak of the mountain, as it were, and we are on a downwards curve, because for all I know, it might continue for another however many weeks or months. I don't know yet. I think I am over the worst of it, because, as I said originally, when I first tested it, the Anna checker just melted and laughed at me, and now I can read it now, and it is coming down. It is coming down. And yeah, I'm being aggressive with it. But again, the water changes weren't cost effective. Aesthetically, it was nice because I could clean the gravel and it looked nicer. But when you're weighing up, 50, 60, 70 pounds for a bucket of salt, and then which lasts, probably a couple of water changes on this, versus a bucket of, a decent size of a rower that's going to last you a lot longer, it sort of swings and roundabouts, because all you're doing is obviously putting off the inevitable a little bit with water changes. You need to rip it out, so that's why I'm using the rower. But we'll get there. And again, I don't want to touch on this evening's subject too much, but for me, it is the patience. It's the P word tonight. It's the P word.
Take your time. Well said.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what we'll do, I'll get up to date with the comments, and then we'll kick off the topic. So what have we got else here?
Just don't move that skate once it's leached everything out.
Don't what?
Don't move it. Like, literally, do not touch it and move it around, because then it'll all kick off again, won't it? It'll leach more phosphates out again once you start disturbing it.
I was thinking of reefkeeping it during Christmas Eve.
Just leave it exactly like it is there in the background. Leave it exactly the same. Once it's leached,
touching it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? In all fairness, I'm sorry. Did I put my hand up, sir? Speak now.
There is a hand thing on this live stream. You can put your hand up there. I saw that last week.
Is there?
It used to be.
There we go.
Yeah, put your hand up. Okay, what would you like there, Tom? What can I do for you?
Thanks, sir.
There was a question earlier that said, how high is the nitrates? You test the nitrates and not really bothering at the moment.
Not been bothering that much. Last time I tested it, we were about 15 to 20.
Which is okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not a bad level to keep your tank at.
No.
You can argue.
The thingy ratio, isn't it? The Redford rate, or whatever it's called.
Redfield
ratio.
Yeah.
Robert Redi.
That should be at 60 on nitrates then. Not far off.
I think so. But we know where it's coming from, Jay, don't we?
Sticking with Redfield,
yeah, that's the main thing.
60 ppm nitrates you should be on. Be like a bloody sewer.
I'm leaving this group in a minute.
Don't leave the group.
He's just jealous, isn't he? Right, someone else has got advent calendar there, Jay. Star Wars Lego Advent.
Oh yeah, that's the one. So that's the one I wanted, but that had run out. It's sold out. Yes,
early enough. But there we go.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
And Russell's saying he's got nitrates were 83 on the last ICP. So yeah, as you were saying.
Sorry, Russell,
he's a sewer.
No, he's not a sewer.
Mickey Boy's driving home, so he's watching. How was Shakespeare? Stratford upon Avon last weekend was a good crack. It was pretty good.
What a romantic you are, Paul. We could learn something from Paul, couldn't we, Tom?
I don't know about that.
Romantic.
We had a good weekend.
Well, Paul's definitely doing something right when his missus wants a bigger tank than he does.
Well, that's true. Well, I don't get that. Do you get that, Tom?
Can you imagine how I had to pitch this? I felt like I were on what do you call it, Alan Sugar. Coming up with a pitch.
So Paul's wife
Dragon's Den.
Desperate for him to get a larger tank. The ultimate reef, and Paul's sticking to his nano.
I know. She wants, I think ideally a 6-foot tank would probably be.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
You see his face on Christmas Day when he's got his 6-foot box underneath Christmas tree.
I think it's a coffin.
Sat there.
I think it's a coffin.
Yeah, she's sorting me out.
That's it. You'll need this at some point.
If you don't get a 6-foot tank, this is for you.
That's brilliant, though.
Oh dear.
She's good. Good, your wife.
Yeah, absolutely. And there you've got Darren saying, Jay, I bought the Avengers Town last week. I'm assuming that's Lego.
Nice Lego as well.
Avengers Tower, not Town. Right.
On the Lego. See, there's loads of Lego fans in here. Let's just change to talking about Lego. That'd be better.
And then Ben's saying about he's got Hermits and a conch and hasn't seen them go at it.
How long they've been together? Because mine were about a month before they attacked it.
Really?
But yeah, if they lived together, that'd be amazing. Because I love the conch, but mine got killed by it. Hermit.
Yeah.
But yeah, good luck, Ben.
Right.
All right.
I'm confused as to why do people put the heater in the return section in an all-in-one, even if you have an ATO. If it's fouled, surely your heater could be open to just air and burst. That's a fair point. So where do you keep your heater and yours, Joe?
In the return.
Do you really?
Yeah. So it's next to the return. You know, with the basket, there's like a media basket.
Yeah.
Next to the return, it sits in there.
So you're okay. So as the water goes down, as it evaporates, it's not in that chamber. It's in the next one.
It's in the one slightly next to it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly the same as mine. So you've got the chamber where the return chamber is, and there's one that's quite narrow to the left, and that's where I've got mine.
That's
I would never ever put a heater in the return chamber because, like you say, if whatever it drained, you've got all kinds of problems going on.
Yeah, good tip. I know some people in the nanos, they have them along, like they'll put them in the base, won't they? They'll put them in on the bottom. Yeah. Below the skimmer. But I wanted mine.
Yeah, but most of them, they're quite small, aren't they? I mean, I've got 150 watt one in this one.
I think mine's 150.
I had to upgrade because I did 100. It just wasn't good enough. At night, the temperature was going down because I've got doors there, and I've got a vent that's open so that it lets the air in, which is fine. It helps with the pH and stuff like that. A cold night like the last couple of nights, the temperature would go down. But since I put a 150 in there, it's been as good as gold.
Been rock steady.
So people always say to me, what kind of heater will you put in? And I said, it depends in your house. How warm is your house? Have you got ventilation coming through? I don't think it's an exact science on that. I mean, I see some people, they've got a 450 litre tank and they'll put a 600 watt heater. When I had the 450 here, I had a 250 watt heater, and that was fine.
Yeah, it's just...
So I think it depends.
I think it does. Mine's been fine with the 100, but mine's smaller. Mine's 25 litres smaller than yours, so that's quite a bit of difference.
But I would never recommend to anyone. I mean, people want to put it in their return chamber, fine, but most tanks, you've got room, or make the room for your heater. Even these nanos. I mean, I've got the skimmer in there still, and there's still room for the heater. And in fact, mine next to the return chamber, I've got some rock rubble. I've got the skimmer, and it's in between the skimmer and the wheel. There's about that much room.
Yeah, there is.
So I've actually put it next to the skimmer.
Exactly.
And then I've got so there's plenty. There's plenty of room, and they're quite narrow, aren't they? They're quite small. They're not really bulky.
No, they're small. And I've got bio balls underneath my skimmer, and bio balls in the first chamber as well. In the first. Yeah.
Where's your temp controller probe then?
That's actually in the main display.
Mine's there.
Mine's over here.
I've got the DD one there. And then we've got the Red Sea one, the other side, because obviously you've got the auto top up. But the only thing is, when it tops up water, because it's in a small chamber, the temperature goes down.
Yeah.
And then because of the heater, it goes up. So it does fluctuate there. So it'd be no good as a temperature controller. It monitors it. Whereas here, because it's in the main body of the water, you get far more stable temperature, I find. So whilst you could argue it's unsightly, I think you get a better reading in there.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
You would in the back chamber.
Yeah.
Mine's in the main display, and it's the furthest point from the heater. So it'll be the coldest.
I'm not interested about you, Jay. I was talking to Paul, sorry. Go on, Paul.
Just in case you were.
Sorry, I'm just going to get you back. Sorry,
sounds like he wants to... Sounds like he wants a nano, I think, as well. Have you got a nano yet?
He feels left out because with Steve.
To be fair, I saw an Evo, full Evo, and I'm not trying to copy trends. Well, I can around on eBay, second hand, just the tank, 40 quid, which I thought was a bargain, just for the tank.
It's good to know. Yeah.
And I was tempted to get it because I've got a black clown because I couldn't bring the black clown in with these two clowns that I've got,
Yeah.
obviously. But I wanted to keep the black clown for the frag tank or QT tank that I ended up building around over Christmas, and I thought it'd be nice to have it, but it's not happening. So, no.
What about in the garage? Because that's where I've got all the other tanks in the garage.
It's not.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, but I just thought, yeah, a couple of gonnies maybe, but because I've got obviously access to a few LPS. As you know, at my friend's house, and I thought a few bits and bobs, but no, it's not happening.
You could have had one with a couple of mangroves and some macro algae and the clownfish and some softies and do something a bit
just spoiler at Christmas, Tom. Spoiler at Christmas. Then early January, go, oh, I'd really like a little nano. And she'd be like, oh, of course you can, darling.
See how she sounds?
I don't know, never met her. I'm assuming she sounds quite feminine, yeah.
Well, I showed you the other day. She spent all afternoon cutting that filter floss up for me.
I mean, she's a good one. She's a good one.
She's a keeper.
I reckon I could work on that. Just treat it at Christmas. Spoil it at Christmas.
No, I am tempted. I am tempted. We'll see.
Excellent. So anyway, John, going back to the question, no, I don't think you should put it in the return section. I think there's plenty of room to put a heater. Other than it's if I had nowhere else to put it, I'm not sure. Well, would I rather put it in a display than in that? Probably not. But
no, not in the display. It just ruins.
I wouldn't want to put it into the return chamber.
Where do you put yours, John? Where do you put yours? Because he's just got a nano, hasn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
I always forget though. Is it TMC or a water box one? I can't remember. Maybe TMC.
I thought it was the water box.
Water box. Be wrong. One of those two, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your fish look like they're ready to be fed there, Tom. They're all in that corner where you feed them. Look.
They got fed didn't they?
They just
got
fed.
Is there an auto feeder on it?
No. Not yet. To be fair, I have got the Reef factory auto feeder. I've just not set it up yet.
Right, okay.
Not set it up yet.
Looks like they've been fed.
And then there's a few comments about adverts, and I'm going to try and I need to do something. Yes, you've got adverts. I've noticed that when I've watched a few other people's live streams, you get adverts. I've got to sort it out. So I've either done it wrong or YouTube, I have started to put in adverts.
That is annoying on a live stream.
I'll probably get about 2 pennies on it. So if I can switch it off, I will switch it off.
Is that why the numbers drop out? Because people
possibly.
You don't want adverts on a live stream. That is annoying.
No, not really. Not really.
Anything to make money. He's learning from Steve.
Well, look at that. My first ever super chat. 130. Only things. Thank you very much.
James. That's James, that is. Thank you.
It is.
Very good. Good man.
Thank you. And then someone else is saying that had it on Reef Dudes the other night.
Yeah, annoying. So
I will try to turn it off and a few people.
How you turn it off.
But I've noticed when I'm watching YouTube, you're getting more and more adverts. Sometimes you put it has a 50 seconds with a countdown, and it shows about 5 or 6 adverts. I'm not going to pay for premium.
I was like, should I go premium? Because I do watch like YouTube.
It's a lot of money, though, isn't it?
It's £20 a month. 20 quid a month. It's quite a lot. That is. I mean, I'm not that good at maths, but that's 120 quid. No,
yeah, but I watch YouTube more than anything else because there's just absolutely nothing these days on TV that we haven't already watched.
That's true. Yeah. I do feel I watch more YouTube than anything else, more than Netflix and anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And then to go back to the heaters in my display. So John keeps in his display, but can hardly see it as a black plastic cover. And it's a 15. Got it in a 15 gallon.
I think it's a water box, isn't it?
And it's two free Hermits and 1 conch there. Then an outbreak of Ceres.
On the live stream last week, I had to get one of them, the flats that are at Aquarium Consultancy, AAC. You know the Marchers tanks from Canada?
Yes, yeah.
Ones. They're called flats?
Reef Casa.
Reef Casa, yeah.
Casa. That's it.
Yeah, them ones. I'd get one of them. That's what they're called, though. The actual model is called the flat.
Okay.
Because you can live in it, I guess.
Okay.
Right.
Everything in it. It's got everything in it, though, to be fair, from what I've seen. They look all right.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
they do look good, didn't they?
Yeah. Really good.
Right, I'm just going to change my headphones because these ones are running out of battery.
Wow.
I thought you were an expert, Paul.
It's wireless. wireless headphones. Oh.
Right. Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you on the other ones. The other ones are good.
No, I can't hear you.
That's probably for the best. That's what the viewers are hoping.
Right.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. So the touch of the Steves there.
Yeah, touch of the stage. You don't want that creeping in.
No.
It's infectious. It happens every week otherwise.
Absolutely. Right, should we get onto the topic? How easy is reefing?
Oh,
because
I still see loads of stuff online, and you shouldn't really look at what people say how hard it is and blah blah blah, and confuse people with all kinds of stuff and overcomplicate it. Loads and loads of kit, loads and loads of stuff like that. So, what do we think? Can reefing be easy?
Absolutely, of course it can.
Right.
So I think we complicate it with our budgets, and then also been influenced by other people who have got bits of kit and technology, and you're thinking, oh, I need that on mine and I want that on mine. And fair enough, it makes it nicer and it makes maybe things a little bit easier, but you don't necessarily need it. And some of the best reef tanks are quite simple, I believe, in terms of setup. So the one that I'm thinking of, we've all probably seen Danny's Aquarium. We've all seen Danny's Aquarium on YouTube. Do you watch YouTube, Tom? Danny's Aquarium?
Never been on YouTube before, Jay. No.
But have you seen Danny's Aquarium?
Yes, I have.
Oh, so this obviously loads of people. Everybody in the chat's probably watched it. 3 like shallow lagoons. Basically, it's got a simple sump, skimmer, filter floss. What are they called? Filter. I don't know. Socks. That's it. Filter socks. It does have an apex to test things, but that is it. That is it. I mean, we argued that we didn't need an apex on one of our previous streams. That was just a bit of, fancy tech. So, skimmer, water changes, a bit of filter floss or a filter sock, testing, keep it simple, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard, I don't think. The more stuff you add, the more you complicate matters.
Right, I'm going to put up a poll. So, can reefing be easy?
And I also think as well, just to add to this, it depends what your goal is as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is what I always say.
What's your goal? I nicked that from you there, Tom.
Thank you.
So I'll let you carry on because you know more about that than I do.
No, but you've got to have an end goal and you need to work backwards. As daft as that sounds. You need to... How do I want this tank to look and work backwards in terms of how can I get there? And it will take time, and there will be ups and downs. It will take a little bit of sprinkling of money and a bit of patience, but you've got to keep your eyes on the prize without sounding too cheesy. And I think for me, it's keeping it realistic, because I always say, like a stuck record, it has to be the right balance to your lifestyle, to the time you can put into the tank, to the time you can test the water, but the main thing for me with this in neon lights is it needs to be fun. You need to enjoy it, because the minute it doesn't become enjoyable or not fun, you'll stop testing your water, you'll stop checking on things, and it will go downhill very quickly. It
becomes harder, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once things go south, that is when the fun begins in terms of what you have to really put some effort in, and you start scratching your head. Absolutely. And I think also the number one thing to make it easy is not have a mixed reef.
Yeah, that is true.
Either go SPS, which I think is harder, or maybe go softies, because with softies, it's more forgiving. You can have dirty water, you can miss a water change and things like that. I find with a mixed reef, you're trying to keep loads of different
too many
happy,
different people.
And it's really difficult. What something likes, something won't like. And then you've got to have a lot of flow for SPS, and then other things don't necessarily like flow. And I think it's just a lot harder.
Yeah, you've got corals in a tank that, in most average tanks, are 2 foot from top to bottom. In most average,
yes, yeah.
But in the real ocean, of something from, I don't know, half a meter to 30 meters in depth. Yeah. In terms of ratio correlation, it's not always gonna be plain sailing. So completely a valid point. It's possible. It's possible, but I would say it would require more attention and more husbandry, more time, not necessarily more money. I think the money side of it, ironically, you can end up spending more money when things have gone wrong to trying to fix it. Instead of actually just keeping an eye on it in the first place and not spending as much money. So I don't think the cost of it necessarily comes from things, from the upkeep. I think it's more a case of when it goes wrong because you're panicking. And again, this hobby has got 100 different voices telling you 100 different things. So you go out and buy a dozen different products. And so, I think for me, it's focus on what you want to achieve, what's realistic, again, down to your lifestyle, your budget, how much time you can put into it, and just be honest to yourself. Have I got the time to do this? Have I got the time to do a water change? Can I afford to send an ICP off every other month? Can I do this? Can I do that? Or have I got a lifestyle that doesn't accommodate that? Then, if that's the case, then lower your expectations. And that's difficult in this hobby because we've all got expectations. We all went out and bought a frag of everything when we could because we all wanted one. Me included, and you learn from your mistakes, but I think I was saying this to Scott last night and a few other people. It's one of those hobbies, and you could apply this analogy to most things in life. Until you go through it and you experience the highs and lows, you're not gonna listen to what somebody says. You're gonna do it.
Yeah, and that's part of learning, isn't it?
And that's part of learning.
Part of learning.
His mistakes in life's like that, isn't it?
I ain't doing that again. That's like posting with that Sam. He's like, it's part of it, isn't it? You're like, not gonna do that.
True.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm just going to end the poll. So it's 93% yes and 7% no. So that's quite an obvious one, I suppose.
And that's a great poll, guys. Thanks for that. For anybody who's watching and thinking, I'm going to get my first tank for Christmas or I'm going to get my first tank soon. Yeah. Because that gives more people in the hobby, which is what we want. More people buying the equipment, more people shopping. It helps everything, doesn't it? So
yeah. So if there was one piece of advice you would give someone, what would that be? Because if you go online, you'll have no shortage of advice, and it'll be conflicting advice, and a lot of it'll be absolute rubbish as well, or rubbish for you.
I think for me, I'd say research. This is going to be the first SBS only tank I've had. I've had mixed reefs for years. I've had different things. I think research for me. There's that many different sources of information out there. Whether it be forums, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. And I'd research, and I'd look at a range. Like you're testing, as cheesy as it sounds, when you're testing water, you're looking for a range. Whether you're using a Salifert, an Anna, an ICP, you're looking for a range. Look for the majority. What's the majority concept? What do the majority of people say in this hobby? And I'd go with that because the majority will be right.
That's similar to mine. So just in case somebody didn't know, I joined the hobby and I never had a tank. So I trusted the people who had tanks to what I was going to do. So Red Sea told me all the equipment on this tank that I should use, basically. And they gave it as the all-in-one. So that took it all out. I didn't have to research skimmers. I didn't have to research return pumps. Like they said, use that. So buying an all-in-one means that they give you everything that you need, and they're the people that know what you need. So that kind of takes that out. Even the light, they give you the light, don't they? Perfect, works well. So I think just like if it's your first tank, get an all-in-one with all the equipment with it, who's somebody who knows what they're doing, an expert as well, like Red Sea or Reef Casa. That comes all in one with everything. Just go with one of those. And then the other one is with the lights. Like I've got my Radian light. What do? I use the LPS template that Ecotech have created for me. They're the experts. They've done all the tests on it. It works. Yeah. So people like on Instagram go, oh, what light settings you got? And I'll say, I just run the LPS template because that's what people have told me to use. And that's what I've got. I've got LPS. So my bit of advice is go and get stuff that people are already using, that they've advised to use, because it'll probably 9 times out of 10, it will work. Or look at a tank that you like and see what kind of equipment's on that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was saying. That's kind of where I was bending towards the research. It's you find your ideal. Where do you want how far do you want to stretch this hobby? I'm fortunate enough that I've got a lot more time than I have when I had previous jobs that now. But again, for me, I know what I want this tank to look like, and it's going to take a number of months or years to get there. But I think for somebody joining the hobby, I think you're bang on right, Jay. Definitely getting all in one. There's less, questions to be asked if, like you said, Red Sea, it's a on-shelf product or water box or whatever it is. Everything you're buying there, it's going to do what you need it to do.
Yeah.
But I think if somebody was going to go probably down the second-hand market, which I think there'll be a big audience doing that again because of cost, and again it's a buyer's market at the minute with that, then I think I would probably say a little bit more what I was saying a minute ago, and I would do a little bit more research and look at, for example, when I first got in the hobby, I'm not going to mention brands, but the first skimmer I bought on the shelf, it wasn't cheap. It was an absolute shower of whatever, and I ended up going through 2 or 3 different skimmers to then end up getting a decent quality skimmer. Had I have researched and spoke to people, but I didn't really know many people in the hobby at the time, I could have saved myself hundreds of pounds of just buying a decent skim to start with. But for me, I was sold a skimmer was a skimmer, just as an example.
I think if you can join, I don't know if you call it a network or a group, or you can find some people you trust, which if you're new to the hobby might be quite difficult. I think that's worth its weight in gold, because you're not searching around and getting loads of conflicting information. You've got people that have been experienced, and as you say, they've done it before, and they'll say, well, no, maybe don't get that, get something else. It might not be 100% spot on, but you'll get some trusted guidance from those people. And I certainly had that when I first started out, from people I knew or I found locally through the LFS or AAC and people like that, of people I could trust. And that saved me so much time and probably money for asking them questions. And that was on a forum, and I just got to know people and went to a couple of shops and stuff like that. And that really helped me. And I think that saved me a lot of money and a lot of time. I know, Jay, we've spoken quite before. You was new to the hobby, Ross was new. The 4 of us talked quite a bit, and that helped you. And it helped Ross as well. And I think being able to speak to people makes a big difference.
I would say just before you move on there, Paul, you and Steve helped me and Ross a lot, and I don't know if people realise that. Like, you gave us a lot of advice in the early days, and I know Ross and I are both grateful for that. And I think it goes back to that point: link up with people you know and you can trust, and you'll have a bit more success with that.
Yeah, because it is a hobby you do on your own. So I speak to people, and it can be quite a lonely hobby.
Yeah, it can.
It's not one that's really, really popular, is it? You only know if someone's got a tank if you walk past a house and you see the blue lights. You won't know. It's not as if you're walking a dog and you start talking to people and stuff like that. So actually, if you can find people, it really does. It does help. And I know people have messaged us before, haven't they, about the live stream and other things, and people message us separately that we've been able to help. And I'm sure there's other people out there as well that do as well. So building a network is I think there's no substitute for it.
There are some manufacturers out there as well that I think give a lot of consultative advice to people that you can talk on chat rooms and forums through the actual manufacturer if you're not sure about something. So there is a lot of good customer service out there now than there was when I first got in the hobby. Because like I say, I walked in and it was very transactional. You need this, this, and this, and off you go. It was not about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to keep, what do you want to achieve. Which for me is the key thing, because if you can buy a skimmer, as we know, or a return pump, but if it's not fit for purpose for what you want to use it for in 6 to 12 months, you're going to end up buying another one. So that's kind of what I was getting at with the research.
Yeah, absolutely. So before I come over to you, Steve, if anyone has, what piece of advice in the chat would you give, or people have given you, that's the best advice you've had that you've been able to pass on to others? So be interested, those people that are watching, if they're happy to put in the comments, what's the best advice they've received or you've given. So whilst people are hopefully going to go into the chat, how are you, Steve?
Evening, mate.
Evening. We're just talking about easy reefing, and I'm sure your advice would be water change, wouldn't it?
Water change has to be in there, though.
Yeah. In the nano.
I mean, water changes is happening on the nano, that's for sure. But hopefully, like the new system, once it's stabilised, maybe after a year or so, then I'm hoping to just revert back to what I did last time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I've said it time and time again. Is like you have high nutrients, like high nitrates, phosphates. If you dose in trace elements, there's no real reason to take out any water, in my opinion. Anyway, that's just my opinion, though. And it works on my reef. Do you know what I mean? But if you have high phosphates, high nitrates, and to replenish the water, then yeah, absolutely, do water changes, and then you're also replenishing the trace elements. But for me, when I had my tank, it was, as you know, I was dosing the trace elements in via dosing. So I mean, nitrates were like 9 ppm, 10 ppm.
Yeah, the biggest thing,
like 0.04. So that's the only reason. Yeah, but never say like if it had major nutrients, then yeah, it would probably be beneficial to do water change. But that was just the way I did it. And then once I started doing it, and then I did a year without doing water changes, then you just stick to that routine, don't you?
Yeah.
And you do what's good for your tank. Well, what was good for my tank at the time, and it went from 1 year to 5 years. So it thrived. It survived, and yeah, at the end of the day. But it doesn't. I'm not saying it will work for everybody. It worked for me. You know what I mean?
No, but you dialed your tank into your lifestyle, didn't you? And it worked for you. Yeah, is what I was saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that for me, that for me is the key. That really is.
Yeah. And also the setup as well.
I totally agree.
Yeah, because on the 280 in the garage, I don't do water changes, but I've got the clarity and I'm dosing, so I'm taking the nutrients out, I'm putting it in, and also water changes are getting more of a pain. Whereas in this one, I can do a 15% water change in 10 minutes. So why would I set up the doser and do all of that, where I can just take 15 litres out, 15 litres in. If I end up cleaning stuff, then it takes another 15 minutes on top. So I can do kind of mini water changes, and it just won't impact at all. And that keeps everything in check, or it should do.
And it's just like, it's like that. The nano that I've got set up, it's diet, and it's touch wood, everything's going perfect. Granted, there's only the fish and a little bit of a couple of mushrooms that I found, that was floating around, in my old tank, like before I shut it down. Once everything had been cleared, the mushrooms that had bedded themselves, there was a couple of them, so I took them to see if they'd survive, and they're actually opened. So they're actually opened and stuck on the rock. So yeah, that's a good sign. But like for like the saltwater wise, I bought a tub of salt. The salt that I did have, which I did open for 2 years, I must have cracked the bucket. Yeah, and it's not been open for 2 years. Yeah. And when I went to go open the top of the lid, which had not been opened, it was rock solid, mate. It was like a block of ice. I was like, "What?"
Water in there, then,
I'm not running the risk for this. So so that was like 60, 70 quid or whatever I paid for it. That was done. So I bought just a small tub of the Tropic Marine Pro salt, a small tub, and I mixed 50 litres of water up and put them in the jerry cans. And I've got one in the kitchen there with a heater in it, heated up to 25 degrees. So all I've got to do is literally, it's not even going to take me 5 minutes to do a 20% water change. Take 10 litres out of there. Yeah. It's done in 5 minutes. I don't even need to mix it up because I've got 50 litres. So in my eyes, that's 5 weeks of water changes, which is simple. You know what I mean? Easily done, easily mixed up. And it's like you said, it's at the end of the day, for the nano, for me, I can handle that. But when it was a big tank, and it was like you said, moving buckets around, and then one time the handle snapped on the bucket and 10 litres of water went everywhere, mate. And I'm like, my missus was like giving it me.
Not the way forward, is it?
Not good. No, and like you said, I did it exactly like what Tom said. For what suits you and like what's beneficial for you. You know what I mean? And,
well, the thing is, if it suits you, you're more likely to keep doing it, aren't you? It's human nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think the other thing is about routine. If you can do your maintenance and you find the same time each week to do your water changes, and then you do your testing your water and stuff like that, it becomes a habit. And if it becomes a habit, you're more likely to do it. So I always do the water testing on a Sunday morning. House is quiet. I've got free time, so then I'll spend, because of the free tanks, it's about an hour every Sunday morning, unless I'm not around. So that's how I get the water test done every week. And it just becomes a habit. And I think if you can make it part of your, as you say, your lifestyle, Tom, and it becomes a habit, you're more likely to do it. So the water change is usually on a Sunday evening, unless I do a 5 litre change during the week, and I just bucket 5 litres, 5 litres in. And I think also and your tank likes routine as well. I think the routine of where it would be dosing, water changes, testing, and everything like that, it then gets into a a routine as well. I think your tank and the fish understand, and the feeding and everything else. So I think routine and certainly maintenance.
When I reflect on some of the older systems, that's where I fell short, because I didn't really have the time on a weekend, or I chose other things as a priority. So I was doing bits during the week, and you're getting in from work, and you're like, oh God, I need to do some RO, and God, I need to do this, I need to do that, and it's not long until you start going down that slippery slope, and you're falling out of love with it, and you're reluctant. Oh God, I'm not going to do I'm going to test my phosphates. I know it's going to be high. Yeah, but how high? How much? And you just get to that sort of. I suppose that's this me personally. Not everybody's the same, but I think majority of people, when it becomes a ball ache, you take your eye off the prize. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I think we've heard about routine,
water change,
mixed reef. Water change, fitting in with your lifestyle, and also what is your end game. There's a couple of comments here. I just want to go through.
More I have.
We've got here. This one's a bit John talking about the Hello Reef does a great beginner tank in the US, and even supplies a bacteria with it, and a $20 credit for livestock, plus gives videos on how to set up and run it. That's good, like that.
Yeah.
Watch this live stream every week. Thank you very much. I think if you watch live streams and other stuff like that, or take advice from different YouTubers, that can help.
Thank you.
This is just so you both all know, this is Liam, who's having a new tank built. The Morris Idol.
Yes.
Right, Bill.
It's Liam. Gills. Yeah.
Nice one.
He's just updated his logo, I think, recently. I spoke to him the other day on Instagram. So his tank's getting wet soon, I think. I hope for you. Before Christmas.
Well, that'd be a nice Christmas present if it's wet just before, isn't it? That's good.
Absolutely. Cool.
That's cool.
Yes.
Just a couple of comments here about to get an ATO. Absolutely. And next, dosing pumps. The only other one I'd put in front of that is a DD controller, or the equivalent. So I think the ability to be able to control the temperature outside of the thermostat. And let's face it, a lot of heaters don't have a thermostat, do they? You just buy the heater.
Yeah.
And so you need a controller. I think for the amount of money we said this before, haven't we? One of the best pieces of kit is the DD controller. And for 30-40 quid.
Not just that, majority of the time we talk about a DD controller, it's about the heat element. On a nano, you're going to get a lot more pound for your buck on a fan being plugged into the cooler than something like my size. You probably need a chiller, etc. So 100% for one of those. I think they are definitely worth the money.
Absolutely. And then another comment here: the Hello Reef new setup from BRS is everything, and a coupon for first fish. It's good.
Yeah, I have seen that.
I haven't seen it.
It comes with literally everything, which is just perfect, isn't it?
That's like the Casa, isn't it? That comes with a bottle of bacteria. I'm not too sure in the UK it does, but you see it does. I don't know if it comes with a heater. I'm assuming it does.
The return pump, the filters, the bacteria, everything. Yeah, it just takes out that. What should I get? Because you don't need to worry, because somebody who knows gets it. You got same with the Evo, isn't it?
But we mentioned this months and months ago about wondering why don't companies make nano tanks? Yeah, remember it was.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah,
I remember we mentioned it. Yeah, and one of us and I think I said to her, why don't they make it where you get everything in the pack? So you get the rock, the sand, everything, the bacteria. So
bacteria.
Somebody can open a tank, and just go, right, set it up, put it on the desk, whatever they need to put it.
With the salt as well,
and it's done with, because like you said, there's too
many. They put the aquaforest salt in it.
There's too many different opinions, like too many people's opinions of what you should get, what you shouldn't get, what you should use, what you shouldn't use. Whereas if it's in the one pack, that's the stuff you're going to use.
Well, it's like exactly. It's like giving you a recipe to bake a cake, but not giving you eggs.
Exactly. That's what it is.
You can't really. It's harder to mess up. Then you can't really go wrong, can you? I mean, it's hard to go wrong. I mean, if I was eating salt companies, I'd be all over that. I'd be like, Waterbox. I'd be like, let's do an all-in-one. Let us supply you with the salt, the first pack of salt. Because once you get that first,
and a free torch. And a free torch.
But think about the long game. If they start with aquaforest, like aquaforest are doing, you're going to then go change with aquaforest salt. You're going to stick with aquaforest salt.
Yeah.
It's just like good economics.
Yes, so, but also you haven't got to buy 22 kilograms of salt either.
Exactly.
Because you think about, you go there and the outlay, I mean, salt is not cheap, is it? I was lucky. I got a Red Sea bucket in the Black Friday. Instead of what 75, I paid 59, I think it was 20% off.
Yeah.
I mean, salt is not cheap. And if you've got a nano, that's going to last you forever. Now, you could argue the small bag, is it value for money, blah, blah, blah. But if you just kind of an all-in-one, it's an all-in-one, but it's not. It's an all-in-one, but you still need to buy boom, 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 and all that kind of stuff. That's not an all-in-one, is it? That's just
ends up being like one of those magazine subscriptions that's $1.99 for the first 5 and then $10.99 for 50.
That is true, yeah. But if they do that, but even now the packages are coming with sand. Have you seen them when they come with a little bag of sand and everything? That's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
That's what that Castle does, that Reef Castle on
the Reef Castle came with sand.
Tons of canned.
And if it's live sand as well, because you buy a live sand, which is not cheap, for a really small tank, you'll end up binning a lot of it because you don't want sand that's like 4 or 5 inches thick, do you? When you got your rock in there and the sand around the outside, you don't need a 10 kilogram bag of sand.
Absolutely. It's smart. It's good.
Exactly.
Plus, it stops you from making beginner mistakes.
Yeah.
If it's not there to do wrong because of how much you've been given and you've been given instructions, which, to be fair, I think they struck a bit of gold with that one, really.
Yeah, it's a really good
good
concept. More of them are going to do it. More of them are going to do it. I mean, the Red Sea Max Nano is getting there, but you still have to buy your rock, your sand, and other bits. But that Reef Castle,
and not just that, but if you've got a budget, if you're paying X, you know you are getting everything.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like, but I like my analogy. You're not going to buy a car and then find out you've got to put wheels on it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It is.
Just
because you don't know what wheels to put on. That's where the mistakes come in. So
that is true. So Red Sea, if you think about what they sell, they could easily do it. And TMC, I mean, TMC do all the sand and everything else. They could actually sell, because they do the nanos already. I mean, any of the companies, to be fair, that do the nanos, most of them do most of the other kits. So with Red Sea, they could do the bottles of bacteria, they do the mature kit, don't they? And they do those kind of sizes already. All they've got to do is just bundle it together to say, this is the tank, and here's your starter kit. And the starter kit, everything else, including the rock, the sand. I think Red Sea do. Yeah, they do. They used to do the PhD.
Actually, I'm not sure.
I thought they used to. Maybe not. But do you see what I mean?
Definitely.
Reef Castle, and that is a LFS that's doing that.
I'm sure Carrot Sea would be happy to supply Red Sea with an all-in-one sand. They just sell even more.
Absolutely, and also the rock as well. They could have a deal with real reef rock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
X number of kilograms. There goes Mickey Boy. If you want me to do a full nano setup, I'll look into it.
Definitely,
I think there's a market. There's a market there.
Over there. I tell you, mate.
Well, I know that's what puts a lot of people off. Is it's constant and you need this, and you need this, and you need this.
I see it. I mean, AAC. I think they've sold out because they're the ones that AAC sell the Castle ones, don't they?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they sold out when I went online to see how much they were. I'm sure they all sold out. To be fair, I'm not. Or they've sold out of one of them.
Well, they got a plug from Reef Talk, didn't they? Because Reef Talk did a video last week or 2 weeks ago about the Reef Castle, because he was sent one, wasn't he? And on there it said about in the UK it was AAC.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
I'm sorry, Steve. I've got to say, I keep looking at you. Remind me of that bear off Bo Selector with that hoodie.
Oh God!
Don't get your pinky out, please. Not on live TV.
You know what, mate?
Not on my channel, anyway.
Mate, you know what? I came in the house before, like literally just got in. Yeah, not long ago. I took my shirt and my tie and everything off, mate. I ran up the stairs and it was like walking into an igloo. It was like walking into an igloo in this house. I was like, "What in the hell's going on?"
That's because you haven't got a tank. No tank. That's essentially.
You know what? My missus actually said that, she went, "Don't you think that it's gone colder in this room?" And I went, "You know what? You're absolutely right."
Well, it's 350 litres of 25 degrees, isn't it?
Honest to God, I kid you not, mate. I swear to God, honest to God, it's gone freezing in this house. So I was like, oh my, it's gone freezing, mate.
The tank.
That's a lot of water, though, and water doesn't really change temperature that much, so it will heat up your room.
Mate, it's warm. It was warm, mate. Honestly, God. Now I came in here and I honestly God, you know when you could go out and you breathe and you could see the mist coming out your mouth, yeah. It was like I'm coming in this house. I was like, what in the hell? Like, this is insane. So yeah, the heating's gone on and I stuck my bloody hoodie on, mate, straight over my headphones, mate, straight over my headphones, keeping my ears warm.
Oh yeah, it's fully wrapped up there, isn't it?
Oh, wrapped up, mate. Wrapped up.
Sorry, I just had to say that.
No, that's.
Hey, you're all right, mate. You're all right.
Yeah.
I don't care what I look like as long as I'm warm. I don't care what you want, mate.
Right. So, Mickey Boy, they're not for sale in the UK. They're $554. So lots of scope for someone to do it here. Absolutely. And then you've got Ocean Reef, 22 quid for Amazon for 10 kilograms. And you don't need 10 kilograms of sand.
No.
In a small tank. And there we go here, Mike. So not good news. Drippy Reef, my copper band hit the bucket. Copper bands. I've got to say, I wouldn't have a copper band. If you want to keep reefing easy, don't have a copper band. Other people say they are easy, but in the main, copper bands are one of the harder fish to keep, based on what I see.
So beautiful, but they are.
They are. Yeah, sorry about that, Drippy.
Yeah, sorry about that, mate. Where's yours, Tom? Actually, where is it?
Oh, Clive, he's there.
Clive. There he is.
Oh, he's there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, black he is.
Yeah, they're very tricky, aren't they, copper bands? They're lovely fish. I think they're one of the best fish you can have in a reef tank, but they're just they're so, like you said, they're so. One minute they could be eaten and they could be like pigs, and then the next they go off the food and they're like, what? They go like starvation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To be fair, I've learned a lot about this guy, and the behavior of him is strange. It tends to be triggered by a lot of other fish, if that makes sense.
And this is what Drippy's saying here. Yeah, about Majestic Angel, didn't like him, so a bit of bullying. I suppose it's the mix you get as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
How they come together. I know you was very conscious about how you introduced all the fish together. Yeah. And how you try to minimise.
I had my copper band with myself in the 8-foot tank in the garage for over 2 years, and they were used to each other, so they were the first two fish that came in here. There was a little bit of a little bit of argument between the convict and the sailfin. I don't know if it was that because it was a stripe argument or what, but other than that, everybody got on. But yeah, he sometimes just gathers in the top corner. On his own, like a bit of Billy No Mates at like playtime at school where he's got nobody to play with, and then all of a sudden a fish will go up to him and it'll just kick him on and he'll just decide to swim around the tank again as if everything's all right. It's a bit strange, really, but yeah, you get to understand these things. Part of the job, part of the journey. All
absolutely. Fun. And there's a comment there, Steve. Don't listen to Mean Tom. You'll fry a tuck all day, mate. I take that as a backhanded compliment.
Yes, cheers, yes, cheers. Love it.
Oh dear.
Love it. You got, but you know what though, it is, and that's like you said, that's reef keeping is easy if you do, and like you said, exactly what you said. Yeah, keep fish that are compatible with each other, or as relatively compatible. I know it's hard to say. Yeah, I know, like you can never determine it. Yeah, but there is books out there. There's like you said, social media and stuff that you can check up and you can see roughly which fish should go with each other, because that's a big mistake. I mean, I was one of them, like putting certain fish with my fish, and like you said, putting two tangs together, they got on well, and then eventually they started knocking 10 bells out of each other, and it was just, and then it's a nightmare to catch them. Then you stress them out, and it's not good. Do you know what I mean? So if you can, like you said, to make it easier or easier, is like choose the right fish that go in your tank. You know what I mean?
And I think if you
fingers crossed, it should go well. You know what I mean? If you do it the right way, and like you said, choose which fish to add first to the tank, like you said, Tom, and then the boisterous ones and all that. Yeah, after, which is 9 times I'd say you add the tangs later on, don't you? When the other fish.
But don't keep adding to it either.
Hey, no. Once you've
don't
got
keep
to
adding to it. The temptation will lead you into,
But it changes the pecking order and the territory and everything else. I mean, I went
disease and everything else.
Yeah,
you open that door up.
Yeah,
exactly.
So with this one, I went because it's a small tank, pair of clowns, fine. I then went for the cherub angel, and cherub angels are known to be slightly aggressive. But I'm thinking them against clowns, they can all pick on one another. And then I went for a dotty back and a purple dotty back, and they're known to be quite aggressive. So I went for 4 fish or 3 fish, but obviously a pair of clowns, because I thought all of them could be aggressive, and they're all going to be aggressive. Then they're not going to be timid, because timid fish was going to the rock and you don't see him again. So unless one's really, really aggressive, and to be fair, touch wood, they've all, and I'm not adding any more fish. 4 is more than enough. The rockscape has got loads of holes in the middle, which then creates issues for anemones, but that's a different conversation altogether. But in terms of the fish, I created the holes so they can all have loads of places to go. Clowns never really hide anyway. And I've deliberately picked fish that are quite aggressive. And I know why I put a timid fish in there, because I think it would get absolutely taken apart by the rest of them. So again, I've done the research, and again, on the other one, I've put timid fish in there, like a pipefish and a hawkfish and those kind of fish in the other one. So I think do your research, you can mix it up.
Your real estate in your tank as well is going to be a big, something to consider. Have you got it sounds, daft, I know, but have you got space for everybody to, have their own space at night? Because if you haven't, it's going to add more stress to it. Like I said a minute ago, I had, I wanted a big shoal of chromis. I've got a decent sized shoal of chromis. I've had access to more. It would have been great to add another 4, 5, 10. I just didn't want to warrant the risk. Why would I want to do that? But that's my experience of running the risk and it going wrong, telling me don't do it again.
It would have been tempting, wouldn't it?
Exactly. I've seen fish that I would love to add, but if the dynamics are working, then why would you risk it for one fish to lose? It's just, that's what I think it is. It's what you're going to benefit versus the risk for me. And one cancels the other one out. The same with corals, same with equipment, same with fish. You could apply that analogy to most concepts in this hobby, to be fair.
Yeah, and also you've got, looking from here, you've got enough movement in a tank that you don't need any more. By the looks of it, anyway, from where I'm sitting.
And again, you've got to think about, and this again is because I've been in the hobby a bit. You've got to think about your bio load. What nutrients. Again, this goes back to what I said a minute ago. How much are you going to do in terms of water changes or husbandry? How much you're going to spend on reactors or rower foss or everything else to pull everything out? So you're going to have loads of fish and loads of mouths to feed in a smaller volume of water. You're going to try and grow corals. You're going to have to spend a lot more time looking after your water and keeping it cleaner because you're putting more crap into it, and your fish are going to crap more, so that's going to create more problems. That's why the majority of your high-end, you people who've got your bigger sort of SPS systems have got, and I've probably got more fish in than I probably should have, but again, part of the family have got lower fish numbers so that they can add to the nutrient level rather than have too much of a nutrient level and have to export it.
Then you've got more maintenance and more management, haven't you? The higher bioload, you need to balance it, don't you? And that's the problem. If you can't, you're going to be fighting those nutrients all the time, which then means you're creating imbalance on those nutrients. And that's when you fall out of love with the hobby
because things go wrong.
Algae and other stuff like that. So absolutely. And there's a sad but true point there from Drippy about majority of animal deaths is always down to us, whether that's choice, put them in the right conditions, the food. I've said this before. If you think about, I don't think we know enough about the food we feed our fish and the different types of food for different fish. There's loads of videos out there for coral care and doing that, but is there as many, or maybe I just haven't looked, is there as much out there? Or maybe we just don't know as much about caring for fish because it's not seen as much as corals. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I haven't looked enough.
I think the issue with that, Paul, I'll be completely honest with you, is that people are more focused on nutrients than they are on feeding the fish. Because a lot of the foods that you feed the fish, that you're meant to feed the fish, come with high nutrient levels, so people avoid them.
Point.
They do.
Possible.
I know they do. A lot of the pellets.
I mean, pellets are one of the, in my opinion anyway. Yeah, pellets is one of the. I mean, all right, they're very nutritious and stuff like everything, but they leach out so. You overdose those pellets in your tank, and you see your phosphates and nitrates rise, Whereas, like because I make my own fish food, I can seriously say I know what I'm putting in, but I can honestly say on my heart, that my nutrients very, very rarely go up. Now, I've been feeding the tank, and there's only the two fish in there, the clownfish, and my mandarin. Now the mandarin just eats pods. I've shoved in 20 packs of pods in there, So hopefully, fingers crossed, that a lot, they'll all be there, and she'll be doing a thing with that. She's doing well. But the clownfish, obviously, now I've got to watch how much food I do put in the tank. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm literally got like a little. It's probably maybe about an inch and a bit, and I just defrost that square. I just defrost that, and then I just break bits off, and I make sure that I see them eating it. You know what I mean? Because I don't want it going on the sand. I don't want it being left. Because when I tested the tank when I tested it the other day, my nitrates were 9.2 ppm, and my phosphates were 0.07. Now, bear in mind, it'd only been in a week, less than a week, and they're already that high. Now, I'm not dosing anything, obviously, but that's because the two big fish, they are big fish in a relatively small tank. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So there's a lot of fish poop waste and stuff, but I'm hoping with decent 20% water changes, it'll lower it down and stuff like that. And I'm not dosing anything, obviously, because there's nothing in there. But fingers crossed, as long as I can keep that. And then when the fish are in the new tank, then I'm just going to get some tiny little orange ocellaris clowns and just do my thing on it. Then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
how many times have you fished that you fed turned around to you and said, "No, thanks, we've had enough"?
Oh no,
never happened.
Never. Exactly.
No,
exactly.
Mate. Absolutely.
What's interesting about pellets and that, you only need a small amount.
Yeah. Oh,
if you throw the pellets in, if you then look underneath and look at the surface, a small number and how many go on the surface. So I think with pellets, people are overfeeding because you do a pinch and a pinch.
Definitely.
You think, especially those small ones, there is so many there that actually less is more, and so therefore you automatically you're overfeeding the tank. A lot of those pellets, they're full of nutrients anyway, are just going to go to the bottom. Not all fish peck on the sandbed. Some will just, if it goes past them, they're too lazy to go to the bottom and feed themselves. So a lot get wasted. So the smallest of pinch is enough for a lot of tank.
I found feeding pellets for fish has been like feeding corals with pellets as well, though. You're better off doing it by turning
that's what I mean. I was going to say that then,
That's, for me, that's when you can control how much you're putting in, what's getting consumed, and what you don't need to keep putting in. But for an average hobbyist that's new to the hobby that keeps going up to the fish, or has got kids and Dory Nemo want feeding, because they're hammering on the glass, just keep piling that food in, and that we've all been there. You just you think they're hungry to keep eating it, but half the time they don't need it. It's just coming out straight out the other end.
That is true.
That is true.
Absolutely.
I don't feed mine every day. I only feed them like once every 3 days, roughly.
Cruel.
Dude, not cruel. They don't need to eat every day, mate. Jesus.
Do you eat every day?
Yeah, I do, because I'm greedy.
Okay.
But fish don't need to eat every day. I suppose I could feed them a tiny bit every day. But sometimes I feed them.
Let me interrupt you. Yeah. When I said this, when I used to say I fed mine, can let me have a run, Paul? Did Jay say to me that I was cruel for not feeding my fish every day?
I would say yes.
Now hold on a minute. Now he's not feeding his fish for 3 days. You're evil, mate. I'm feeding the IPCA, mate.
That's
not right. That's terrible.
You haven't got any fish. Jay. That's what I said about you. You had a
terrible,
tank.
Mate. Terrible. I said I fed mine every other day. You only 3 days, mate. That's terrible, mate.
What have I started?
You had a 350 litre and you had 2 fish in it. That's what I was on about. I was like, what a waste all that water is. Get some fish. And surprisingly, about 2 or 3 weeks after, you got loads of fish, didn't you?
I did, mate.
You got them chromas, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
My favourite fish of yours is Lily, though. I'm so glad you didn't get rid of Lily because she's ace.
Oh, I would never, mate. I would never have gotten rid of her. I'm only opening this tank, that, like I said, until I get my new one, I'm only hoping that she does well. You know what I mean, and that she
I hope so.
things, because it's only a small tank. But I mean, for
gutted.
her, it's perfect. But my clownfish, like I said, I am a little bit worried, to be fair. You know, like because of the size. Like when you see a clownfish, like my clownfish in my big tank, they look small. They don't look like big. Yeah, you're like, oh, this one. But then when I dished them out, when we scooped them out, or Scott did, my mate Scott, he came round and he gave us a hand as well, yeah. And when I put them in the tank, they just made the tank look so small. It was like unbelievable, mate. I'm like, oh my god, like this don't look right. This looks cruel. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, when you go to a fish shop and you see them like decent sized fish in like those smaller cages, and like those fish tanks, and I'm like, oh, it don't look right. But you know what? Like the missus says, you know, it's only for a couple of months or so, and then once that's done, then you know what I mean. It's fingers crossed, everything should be fine. But
So I've just started a poll. Do you feed your fish daily?
Yes.
I think it also depends what fish you've got. Because if you have things like amphias, there are some fish that you need to feed multiple times a day. Otherwise, they will die.
Like I don't have a routine around. I have routines.
Here we go. He's backtracking now.
No, because it sounds like I do it every 3 days, and I don't. I'll do it whenever I've got.
You just said that.
So sometimes
is there a heart in there, Jay? Somewhere you've got a heart in there.
Yeah. That's why they're so ravenous. Look, because they haven't been fed for ages. So sometimes I feed them every day, and I'll do a little bit.
Yeah, but if you're not eating in 3 days, and somebody gave you a cracker, it'd be the best cracker you'd ever eaten.
Yeah, she's in the jungle.
But you can overfeed them, can't you, and stuff? And I just like
you can, Jay.
But that's
every day.
Going back to yours, Tom, if you research it, fish don't eat every day. They don't need to eat every day.
They don't. No, they don't. They don't.
They don't need to eat every day.
No,
they don't need to eat every day.
All right. I thought you were telling me that I need to feed them every day.
No, I feed mine every day.
Well, that's wrong.
I feed mine every day. Do you feed your corals every day? You do that, don't you?
They don't get fed every day in the wild.
Some do. Some just feed non-stop. They're pecking all the time.
Oh, that's tangs in it, I suppose.
And amphias.
No, I've got. I think again, for me, the reason I feed them twice a day, and again, this goes back to lifestyle. So they get fed. If Kaz is at working from home, she feeds them during the day, or I'll feed them when I get in from work and then before bed. So probably on average, 2 or 3 times a day.
I've got the live stream tomorrow night. I'll feed them tomorrow night. So then, just
because they don't want to look anorexic,
No, because they love the live stream then. They get excited. Oh, it's like live stream now. We're going to get fed.
So we look normal.
Yeah, they're right.
They know when it's live stream. 6 times a day.
6 times a day.
Yeah, I don't feed them that much. That's a bit excessive.
But 3 times on the
hour. He's got 90 nitrates.
Yeah.
Well,
depends on what he's got, what he's wanting to.
Like a medieval banquet in that tank. Jesus, constant.
It's different.
Wow, that is mad.
There we go. There's one about a tricolour tank in a DT. That's AAC. Lose weight rapidly.
Well, it's funny you should say that because that's exactly why I feed and this goes back to what we're talking about with the copper band.
Yeah.
I've had a few over the years, and I've had more success again. When the tank that copper band was in with the sailfin didn't have any corals in it for a long time, so there was no worry about nutrients. And I knew I was moving them to this tank, and I said this in one of the earlier streams months ago. All I was bothered about was, it was just keeping the health up there, keep plugging food in, and if he was eating it and it wasn't being wasted, I just kept feeding. Not excessive amounts, but little and often. Every time I went in the garage, little bit, and it not only just helped him put on body weight, but it obviously got him feeding multiple different food. But in here now, he's got a lot more fish to compete with, which I think is where it becomes a little bit different. The chromis, there's 18 chromis in here, 18, 19 chromis, and all the bits that are normal size fish, like the copper band and the orange shoulder, foxface, etc., that they will eat, as in your full pieces of brine or mysis. All the little bits that they're not bothered about, the chromis just hoover them up. It's unreal. There is very little, and I watch it. There's very little that goes down my weir into the sun. Very little wastage. So, and again, that's just knowing your tank and the amount that you're feeding versus the amount of fish you've got. And I think again, that's just a bit of experience, but just understanding your tank again. Yeah, really.
Right,
putting a load of food in for 2 clowns is just crazy.
I've got
saying.
some more for the other thing as well when you get back to me.
Well, I'm just going to do the poll and then we'll
up.
come back to you. So wait a minute. The poll, I'm going to end the poll. It's 89% yes and 11%
89% yes, what too? Feeding it every day?
Feeding every day, yeah.
Jesus. I wouldn't have thought that.
Right, come on, Jay. Jay, you got the floor. What are you going to say?
Oh, is it my turn?
Steve, coming to you. No, go on, Jay. Jay, over to you.
What's going on here now? Right, what was the question here? Reef keeping is easy if you do this. Right, so reef keeping
okay.
Easy.
Do you know what? He's come off the food, hasn't he?
See, I'm on the whiskey tonight, mate. I've had 2 glasses.
Is that whiskey? Oh, yeah. Jay.
Mate,
what's all this about? John Smith's to whiskey. Right, is it definitely getting the Christmas spirit here?
But it's the proper whiskey. It's the Irish whiskey if Ross is watching.
Oh, it's Irish whiskey. Yeah.
He's not a love of Irish whiskey.
He'll be on you, mate. He'll be on you like a rash. I'm Robert Scottish whiskey, mate. Love the Scottish whiskey. Nice.
This will be a test to see if Ross watches the stream.
Yeah, it will actually.
Yeah, the Scottish whiskey is really good stuff.
Yeah. Phone will flash up in a minute.
Okay, going back to the question. Reefkeeping is easy if you do this. These are my 2 other ones. Checking your salinity and checking your alkalinity. Those are 2 parameters you should always check. Keep an eye out. Test them regular. Salinity and alkalinity. And the easiest way to test them, the easier reef keeping will be. So I use the Hannah ones. Are they the easiest ones? I don't know, but I use Hannah, alkalinity, Hannah.
I think so.
They seem really easy.
The Hannah
salinity. Another thing with the salinity is like if you do use those Hannah checkers, I swear blind that you should calibrate them at least
every other week,
every 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah,
every time
keep them in tip-top condition, and keep it honest to God, because you know what, I've had it I've had it go like a month, 5 weeks, and I've gone, whoa, that can't be right, and then I've tested it, I've recalibrated it, mate, and it's like 1.027 or something like that. They do lose calibration, and that's the only problem, with them. Love them, but they do need to test them. But you know what? Yeah. Tom, you speak, mate.
I'm gonna throw a bit of a spanner in the works here. I agree with Jay, 100% salinity.
Thank you, mate. That's never happened before, that hasn't.
I will agree with you on that. I'm gonna disagree with you on alkalinity.
Oh, mate, rocks.
For me,
you haven't got corals. You haven't got corals. For me, pH is more important than alkalinity. Oh, that's a hard. They come hand in hand to some extent.
No.
Yeah. Well.
If you've got a softy tank, it doesn't matter, does it? If you got easy softy tank, salinity, absolutely, it's the number one thing.
Alkalinity. Yeah.
Alkalinity is above.
No. I would rather go with alkalinity.
No.
Let's have a
pH over alkalinity. pH over alkalinity. pH saves so many more issues than alkalinity does. You don't need to worry about your alkalinity if your pH is right. As long as it doesn't drop too much, you don't have to worry about it.
If you've got corals, mate, you need to have a stable.
There we go. There's a poll. What is more important, alk or pH? There we go.
This will be very.
I think the
Why
view.
can I not see the polls? Look, it's doing me head in. It's just plain white for me.
I don't know, Jay. I can see it. It's there.
Anyone else vote on these things? I've not been able to vote yet.
Well,
Steve, you done Scalquas on your old system, didn't you?
Did, mate? Yeah.
We did. I can't see these polls. Do me head in.
I loved it. Loved the Calquas. And to be fair, I think we have the space. I'm definitely going to. Well, obviously, once the corals, it's going to be a good year anyway. At least a year, I reckon. Before
I think it's going to be. To be fair to John, I do accept that, but I think there'll be a lot of people that won't have experienced Calquasser. So I'm not going to be subjective tonight. We're talking about what makes the hobby slightly easier, but it's a bit subjective because, and I'm not conceding this, Jay, because I do think you're going to win with the majority of people in the hobby being trained from shops and being told alkalinity, which I was one of those. But until you have experienced the benefits of running a system with a higher pH and the less headaches that gives you in terms of disease or corals getting the face on, whatever it is, and it impedes growth. accelerates growth, then I think it's hard for somebody to actually give a vote on that, if that makes any sense. I think you've got to have. Go on, Steve.
I've got to admit with you, Tom, yeah, the pH, when I started dosing Calquassor, and my pH did rise, and it went above like just scraping over 8 pH, which I used to get, yeah. I've got to admit with you.
Somebody agrees with me.
No, I've got to admit with you, the pH did help the corals a hell of a lot, you know what I mean? Hell of a lot, you know, in terms of like looking.
I'm not saying pH isn't important.
100%. But 100%, absolutely they did. But like I said, I mean, without the right stability of alkalinity, like I said, depending on what college you got.
But I'm not talking about swings.
It's got to be right, mate.
I'm not talking about swings. But when you, from experience of working with Calquassor, and I've experimented with it, and I'm no master. I'm still learning. We make that point very clear. One thing I have learned is that you will gradually, your alkalinity will rise. It just happens. But people panic when that starts to happen. But if your pH was in a certain range, you know, if you can manage to get it around the 8.2, 3, 4 mark, you will have less issues. Your corals will thrive more than when you're chasing alkalinity and other numbers, is all I'm saying. So having your pH raised and not suppressed allows you a lot more margin for error in the hobby than if you had it suppressed, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which so it helps to accelerate the growth of corals.
Yeah, and it prevents
stability of alkalinity as well.
Yes.
That's an enabler kind of thing, isn't it? It's a foundation.
Yes, is what I'm saying. Which for me is why it's more important than alkalinity, because your pH, and as you dose Calquassor, your alkalinity will rise. That is just not. But I agree with what Steve's saying. You don't want it to go from 6 to 10 to 12 to 4 up and down, because that's just no different than temperature in your water or salinity, stability
or anything.
So as long as it increases, what I'm saying is, if you start your alkalinity at 8 and you're dosing Calquassor and you're getting 8.2, 8.3, but your alkalinity keeps rising all the way up to 9 or 10, don't panic, because you're focusing on the pH. And I know we're going off on a tangent here, but I'm just trying to explain myself for me why pH is more important than alkalinity.
So there's a question. My pH is 8.2 and alk is 11. So why do I need to dose calc?
You don't.
You don't. No, you don't.
Because calc. What's it? Basically,
I'm talking about people in a normal, you know, tucked down house with a couple of kids, dog, whatever. Suppressed pH, pH running at maybe what? High at 7.8, 7.9, and low at 7.6, something like that.
Yeah. When you was talking about me there, yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm just
two kids, a wife, and a dog. That's exactly what I got, mate. That's why I needed it. You know, exactly right why I needed it. For sure.
I'm not saying that I'm not taking anything away your tank, Logsy, but I guarantee you that a vast majority of your success with your tank was down to Calquassor and down to the.
It accelerated it, didn't it? You were successful. It was successful before, but it helped.
It was only for 6 months, weren't you? Only 6 months.
Well, he spent 12 months thinking about it.
He did spend 12 months thinking about it.
It was a year thinking about it.
8 months. You can't say it was down to Calquassor. That was only the end of it.
It was way more than 6 months.
Did you not see a lot more of an uplift from it, though?
Oh, yeah. In terms of
what I'm saying.
Exactly like I said. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
Out of all the products that you can buy on a shelf and put into your tank, can you all not say, though, that was one of the things that you can definitely say made a positive difference to your system?
You can see the difference.
Is what I'm saying.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. 100%.
Right, I'm going to end the poll, and it was 89% alkalinity, 11% pH.
Sensible audience.
Sensible.
Last words to Jay.
I listen to the audience.
Look at Jay there. Look at him.
Look how
it's fine. I knew I was
smashed it.
I was a lamb to the lion then. I knew that.
But you set you up.
What have you got in that whiskey? What is it? Whiskey and what?
Oh, mate, it's a hot toddy, so it's.
Mate, I love hot toddies. I love
Jack Daniel's Fire. Yeah, Jack Daniel's Fire.
No.
Jack Daniel's Fire, which is cinnamon, sugar, honey,
nice.
and lemon.
And, mate, I love it.
Hot water, mate.
Hot water.
Oh.
I love it, mate. I love them. I always have them at winter.
It's my favourite winter drink. I love them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But this screen's getting a bit more blurred by the minute. In fact, my lights have gone off, I think.
Right, whilst he's messing around. So, people were saying there was adverts earlier on. I think I turned off the adverts. Has anyone had any adverts in the last 15 minutes or so?
I just keep seeing this guy with a York Jay's Real Tea cup in front of me.
There's no advert there, mate.
Is it? Oh, right, okay.
Sorry, mate.
There we go. It's not. What's the question? What was there? It's not a hot toddy. He's had it for almost 2 hours.
No. This is my second.
Oh, right.
I am.
Right.
It's 1st December.
Let's go through some of the comments there. pH set flat 8.29 to 8.32. KH up to 17.6 at one point, not a single issue. And there's a question that I missed all the way back around chromis. Let me find it. There we go. Do you think adding 15 chromis at a time would help with the aggression?
Definitely. That's what I did.
15 at a time. It's a lot in it, that.
Well, again, it depends on the size of volume. But if I know from what Liam's talking about his tank, I think it's 6B3, something like that from memory. And again, it would depend on who else is currently in the system and how long they've been in there. I used them, if you remember, and it was I created what I called a diversion, which again wasn't intentional, but I'd got them at my disposal, should I say, and it worked really well when I put the other large fish in. So I didn't put them in just on their own. I put them in with the fish that I was worried about fighting with the other fish that were already in, and that created the diversion, which worked really well.
So just on that, they say for them chromis, you're supposed to use odd numbers. So 15, that's odd number. That's pretty good. But then you're supposed to put the least aggressive fish in first, and then the most aggressive fish in last, aren't you? The territory. But aren't chromis a damsel, which is the same as a clownfish? And they're like, everybody says put 2 clownfish in first, but they're very aggressive. They're quite aggressive fish, clownfish, very territorial. We shouldn't put clownfish in first. I know because they're hardy and they're supposed to be like they can cope with swings and stuff as you get in a new tank. But you should be putting things like firefish in first, like little mandarins and things like that are really non-aggressive, and then build up to maybe clownfish and tangs and stuff like that.
What it is, you know what it is? I think it's because of this stigma of when you get a reef tank, the first fish that have to go in a reef tank,
wrong advice, isn't it?
Clownfish is a pair of clownfish. But I agree, mate. Like you said, my clownfish were very, very territorial, very aggressive.
Very aggressive.
You know what I mean? To be fair. And now,
but when they're really small, they're not so bad, though, are they? If you get them really small, it's usually when they get to adult, they get more aggressive. You find the small ones, they just stay to themselves. They don't bite your hand. They don't tend to go for other fish, I found. When they become adults, that's when they start. And I suppose they start laying eggs. That's when they get really aggressive. When they start laying eggs. I find with chromis, they're aggressive to one another, not necessarily to other fish. Now, I've only kept them 4 or 5 of them, and that was years ago. I haven't really seen them be aggressive. Whereas damsels, they're territorial. They'll mark out their territory, and they'll attack anything that will go into their territory. So I had the Springer damsels, and they were okay. They was all spread across, no fighting amongst themselves. But if someone came into their territory, they'd defend it. And in a big tank, that is.
Can we have another poll? Can we have another 2 polls?
Well, I have one. Go on. What's the first? One at a time, Joe.
Can we ask? What's the first fish you put into your newest tank or into your tank? A clownfish.
How can he record that?
What's the options?
How many? I think it's fair for him to say how many people had clowns as the first fish.
What's the question?
Yes or no? And then did they think that was the right choice?
Right. Okay.
Was the first fish you put in your tank a clownfish or a pair of clownfish?
Right.
Do you feel that's the right decision? Because I did that, and I don't think it was the right thing to do. And if I was starting again, I wouldn't do that. But everybody,
I think another thing that people. Well, I think another thing that people forget about is getting fish that actually do something for the tank. In terms of your algae eaters, your grazers. I mean, I got the chromis for the aesthetics. I'll not lie, and get a nutrient load.
Oh, they look
so
nice.
I wanted a shoaling, school of fish. But other than that, you know, why have the fish, obviously, as I keep saying, have come from 3 different systems. Why did I buy them in the first place? The majority of them were tangs. I think I've got 6-7 tangs. I had the fox face on top of there, but they're all, you know, grazers and algae eaters. And going back to what we said earlier about feeding the fish daily, when I don't feed the fish, and they're doing it now while I'm watching, they're grazing on algae.
Yeah,
that's what they're meant to do.
That's what they do in the wild, don't they? That's what
they're meant to do.
There's loads of algae in the wild, but you don't see it because they keep it. But there has to be because it keeps tangs going.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't survive, would they?
If you're going to keep dropping a KFC and a McDonald's in every couple of hours, they're going to think twice about eating the spinach.
Well, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which happens.
I think when people choosing fish, you know, for me, it's like we said earlier, it's who's going to get on with who, the size of tank they're going in, the volume versus, you know, the amount of fish, i.e. the nutrient, you know, level. And again, try and get some fish that make life easy for yourself. You know,
absolutely. Go for a couple of comments there. Just
going for them chromis as well. The chromis are great.
The Reefers, Phil Mitchell.
Tom Brook, the Reefers.
Now. I don't know how he dare. He's had more holidays, this kid, honestly. Ridiculous.
Reef's Elements, pH plus 2-part, best I've ever used. I've heard that before.
I've heard that as well. Right? That needs looking into.
Jay, get the ironing board out.
Steve, where's the ironing board? I haven't got one here.
Locked up.
There you go. Phil Mitchell's drinking bloody pH. That's a good cocktail.
Drip is on it. Drip is on it.
He's on it.
Never tested pH, skim resin airline from outside. Can't do much else without adding equipment.
Exactly, so it can't be that important. Most people don't test pH.
It definitely helps. He's just ignore him.
Oh, don't bite.
I'm not biting. But it's like if you've not explored it, you don't know what you're missing. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
pH, I know, is a really important factor. Is a really important factor for health of corals.
40 years
more
ago,
than alkalinity.
It's close. It is close.
I'm going to prove it to you.
You can. I'll come round your house. You can prove it.
There you go.
Oh, no,
Jay, could it be growing your tank? Right. Let's look at this. Let's look at this poll. Oh dear.
What's that growing tank?
In the poll, right? So it was 76% yes, 23% no. What was the follow-up question, Jay?
The follow-up question was that the right decision? Because obviously the people, the 76%, was it? Did they feel it was right?
Do you regret
putting clowns in first? That's it. That's the question, Paul. That's why you're back. You should have seen it when Steve were doing. Should have seen it when Steve were doing the poll questions. Jesus Christ. We almost got.
Hold on a minute.
Did you do a poll last week, Jay, or not?
I was going to say that.
Tom,
did you?
He did. He had his big boy pants on last week. He did well.
We tried our best every time, mate.
We did.
Yeah, you did all right.
pH is more important than alkalinity.
Oh dear.
Right. So there we go. So was there any other tips for easy reefing, Jay, before we move on?
John wanted a tip. What was John's taking the mick out of my tip of the week? Tip of the week. What was the tip of the week? We had one in the chat earlier, didn't we? In the WhatsApp, I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what your tip of the week was.
I remember what it was.
We'll have to look at it.
Tip of the week.
So we'll come over to Steve. So Steve, what would anything else you would recommend for easy reefing that we haven't covered off?
Well, I've only been in here for the last 15 minutes, so I don't know what you rattled off in the first hour. So, hour. 50 minutes.
Water changes. Stay away from a mixed. Yeah, testing water. Stay away from a mixed reef because that needs.
Stay away from a mixed reef. Oh, didn't hear that one.
Mixed reef is harder than say if you went softies only because mixed reef you've got SPS, LPS. Softies, you got SPS sometimes very different water quality to softies.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, granted. Is that stay away from a mixed reef if you're a beginner? Is it?
No, it's just how easy reefing do these things. You can have an easy. So reefing's nice and easy. You haven't got any hassle, so you take all of the, I suppose, the toughness
headache
out
away
of the
from
hobby.
it. Yeah,
that as well. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, fair play. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's a good one. Yeah. Water changes. Reef keeping made easier. Not really. To be honest, I mean, in my opinion, to be honest, yeah, I would. You know, the biggest thing that I could probably say about to that, yeah, is to take advice from people, yeah, who you know, from like, in my opinion, I've said it before, yeah, who have really good existing tanks, you know, reef aquariums, yeah. That's what I did, yeah. I took snippets from somebody, snippets from this guy, and I implemented it into mine because I thought to myself, well, these guys know what they're talking about because they've got really nice tanks, thriving tanks, healthy fish. So I just took little bits from each of them, yeah, and I just stuck with them, yeah. And like you said, like Tom said before, yeah, there's loads of different opinions of what you should use, what you shouldn't use, what you can use, what you do this, how to do this. Listen, stick to it. Write it all down like I did. Write it all down, the way you're going to go, the plan you're going to go, and stick to it. Don't change it, because if you change it, you're going to go wrong. Something's going to happen, and you're going to go, why didn't I just stick to what I was going to originally do? That's what I did. And you know what? I'm going to do that on my next tank. I've got things in my mind. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to it. And if it goes pear-shaped, then it goes pear-shaped, but it is what I can at least I can say, well, I did it the way I wanted to do it, and that's it. You know
that's
what I mean?
A really fair point on certainly on cycling a tank, because I see a number of people say, I've started cycling the tank, something has happened, then someone else suggests something else, someone else suggests, so they don't carry on what they're doing, they do something else and end up starting the cycle again, because someone says, well, put some more ammonia in. No, because you've already started the cycle, you've had the ammonia, you've had the nitrite. What you need to do is do nothing and just watch it.
Leave it.
And they'll start doing things. It goes round and round in a circle because they haven't seen through what they're doing.
Yeah, for me, this is similar to what I was saying about fish a minute ago. It's the same with corals. You know, look at where the corals should be. What's the natural habitat? Is it at the bottom of the tank, at the top of the tank? Is it a lot of flow? Is it not a lot of flow? Is it a lot of light? Is it not a lot of light? Don't put the coral where you've got a space for the coral because you want the coral to go there. It's not going to be happy. It's as simple as that. You know, don't put two fish together because you like the look of them when one's going to eat the other. It's not going to end well.
He's out of drink.
I'm in for another hour.
You get another one.
I'm going to get my third one.
Oh dear. I'm going to end this poll. Right.
Probably a good idea.
So yes. Wait a minute. Yes is 25%. No is 75%. So there's still 1 in 4 regret putting their clownfish in. Which is
I'm
quite
one
a
of
high
them.
percentage.
I'm one
That's
of them.
high. That's quite high. That really.
Yeah.
I think there's something in that.
So would you not have clownfish again then?
I might have clownfish, but I wouldn't have them in first. I'd probably, if it was a nano, I'd put them in last. I'd have put my mandarin in first, but I didn't.
Yeah, but the mandarin need a lot of feeding.
A mandarin needs like an advanced tank. Really, it needs a proper set tank. Yeah,
I'd be interested to know as a poll, out of everybody who's got clowns now, who of those people have got corals that the clowns can host?
Oh yeah, that's what my clown. You know what? That's what my clownfish are missing. To be fair, because
mine have got the face.
You know what they've done? You know what they've actually done? Yeah, the sand that I've put in. What they've done is they've dug like they've moved the sand and they've dug like a a sand dune. Yeah. And they sleep on that. They're sleeping on there because they're so used to sleeping in the torches and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That it wasn't. I mean, I'll probably have to. Well, it's going to be turned into a euphyllian anyway. But I might have to buy like a torch or a couple of torches and just stick it in there.
Get one off Jay. He doesn't cheat.
Right. I've done a poll. I've added a poll. Do your clownfish host? I mean, they'll host anything. I've got ones that host a chalice coral. They just lay on the chalice. Another does Duncan's. The one in here hosts one of the NEMs. The other one's got no interest whatsoever.
I've seen him in gonnies and everything over the years.
Mine's gonnies. Mine love the gonnies.
Yeah, Duncans are favourites as well, and Duncans don't get agitated by. I find torches get agitated by.
Connies aren't bothered either. Connies aren't bothered about it.
Yeah,
they love it.
If you were a clown, Jay, what would you sleep in?
What a random question! What a random question.
Would you prefer a Duncan or would you more of an?
What? I had that as. Why would you ask me? That's a damn.
He's a clown.
Yeah, Tom. He's had 2 hot toddies at this moment in time. Yeah, don't put him in his head. He's had 2 hot toddies. He's not on the John Smith.
Probably a torch because I like torches and it's nice and soft. Is that a question?
Would it be a Dragon Soul or New York Knicks? What would you?
It'd have to be a tiger, wouldn't it? He'd have a tiger.
Tiger torch. Oh, tiger torch tonight. Fluff my pillow up and we're sleep in a tiger.
I like it nice and soft, so I'd probably go a torch.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Wasn't expecting that one.
That was.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's a classic.
That is good. What's the poll now? Because I can't see what the poll says.
You can't see much, can you? Really?
I can't see anything.
It's bleary-eyed.
I even see the bloody screen.
So, Jay, especially for you, I'm going to end it now. 54% is yes, they do host, and 46% no.
Wow.
So it's even Stevens.
Even Stevens there. Yeah.
Nice close.
Yeah.
Was that the answer you were expecting there, Jay?
I can't remember what the question was, but yeah, I think so.
That's your clownfish post to call. It was your question.
No,
it was actually actually mine.
Paul. Oh, was it? Sorry.
Yeah. No, I said of everybody that has got clowns, how many people have got something that they can host?
That's fair enough.
In the tank. And me and Steve said that we haven't currently got anything. So.
Right. Told you what, mine.
You sleeping in that room tonight, Jay?
I think so. Pub's open for another hour yet, so I might nip from there.
Furry mushrooms.
Mine hosts furry mushrooms.
Purple tip hammer.
Yeah.
Jay'd like to cuddle up with a torch's feeder tentacles.
Right, stop making me laugh now. I can't stop coughing.
Jay, you doing a water change tomorrow? I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I aren't actually. No, I don't think so.
Good job. What about a video?
I'm supposed to do one this weekend. I'm supposed to go and buy me new fish, but I don't know.
Fish? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
I mean, Royal Grammar.
Oh, nice choice.
Nice.
Knowing him, he'll end up buying a Royal Grammar.
Royal Grammar. I might delay it to next weekend. I don't know.
Okay.
Depends on
nice choice of fish, though, Jay. I've got one of those. They last a long time as well. I've had mine for about 7 years.
Lovely
really
fish,
nice fish.
They're lovely fish.
And nice community fish. They won't start a row or anything.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so I'm going to get one of those, but I don't know if to get this weekend or next weekend. But whenever I get it, I'll do a video. I'll take you along to the shop, pick it out.
What shop are you going to?
Nice.
I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Most of my fish are from Cellar Marine, which is in Stoke. So I might go there. Could go Wharf Aquatics because that's pretty good in North Derbyshire. They're kind of 2 good ones near me.
I think that Royal Grammar is going to have an argument with one of your clowns. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's what I'm worried about though, because all the others are all kind of get on now. I don't want anything kicking off.
I don't think it'll last long, but there's going to be an argument as to who's bed's it.
Why are you saying that? That's the reason why I'm doubting getting it this weekend. Because
it's going to happen. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen.
It's cheering, you know.
Tom, don't say that. The problems we had when the last fish died.
Oh, really?
Have
you got fish? Have you had fish that have died, Jay? Because mine are all right. Sorry.
Yeah, one.
Oh, right, okay.
You know what killed it? The clownfish. The female clownfish.
Yeah.
It killed it on my bloody live camera when I wasn't at home. I watched it on the camera do it. Stripped its fins. It's horrible. Horrible. But then obviously I can't get rid of the clowns because I've had them from day one.
Well, on that cheery note, we're about to finish.
Okay.
Hey, there you go. That's good. Nice little festive one to finish with.
It's a bit of a downer.
Thanks for joining, everybody. I'm off down the pub now.
Well, you won't have to feed him for a while.
Not really. What's that?
Nothing.
The hermit crabs would be all right.
So you won't have to feed him for a while.
Yeah, it was bad. That was bad. That's why I've got a bit of love for Steve's Mandarin.
Yeah.
I live my Mandarin love through Steve's Mandarin.
Well, to be fair, my Mandarin's just eating all the chromis eggs at the minute. That's all she's doing.
Oh,
the chromis know.
That's some fat though.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Nice
cool.
food.
Yeah, cool fish. I love mandarins. They're such a cool fish.
Absolutely.
Oh, beautiful fish, mate. Yeah.
Right, we are out of time. Thank you very much for everyone. Thanks, guys, for joining, for everyone in the chat, and for the polls as well, which have been interesting at times. Should we say?
On that side, guys, it helps. If
you can, that'll be great. I managed to turn the adverts off, so that was good.
Yeah, give them
whatever coral you choose to sleep in tonight. I hope you sleep well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll stick to that.
Good. It's coral bed. And are we with you next week, Steve?
I'm on from the start, mate. Yeah. So
you're making it festive one, Steve. Let's get more festive every week.
Festive.
Christmas jumper next week. It's Christmas jumper day next week.
Is it?
NSPCC.
I wear a Christmas jumper theme next week then. But I don't know about it being festive because I don't, and to be honest, I don't even know whether I'm going to be doing it from this house. It might be with Dad's, to be fair, because I'm having my electrics done out. All my electrics.
No, fair point.
I hope he's got good internet.
Yeah, we don't want Mackie do we like I used to.
No, it's not Mackie's. No,
absolutely.
No. Should be good. Should be good. Fingers crossed.
We are done. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for leaving, everybody.
Have a good weekend. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bless, guys. God bless.